Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the garage. My name's Dave. This is Dick's 4x4 Garage, and today we're going to be working on a square body. So let me tell you what we're going to be doing today. So we got this mugger up in here. This is the iron LS1. We're going to get going on getting everything mocked up with it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to just start putting everything in the engine bay. Just, you know, fender wells, everything that needs to be here, and then figure out what kind of custom stuff we got to do around that as far as brake lines and as far as, you know, just other stuff we want to do, where to mount the PCM, all that good stuff. So I'm kind of thinking with the PCM, I'm going to do like a more kind of stock LS location, like the trucks, maybe put it down here in this general area, maybe back there. I don't know right now. I've been thinking a lot about the vintage air. So I have vintage air in my other K truck, but I've kind of decided that with this truck here, that, you know, I'm going to leave that other truck alone for the most part. So the only thing I took out of it was the axles, because I have to redo the axles in my crawler anyway, so that's good. So I don't want to take the trans or any of that other stuff out. That's why I'm going with the 4L80 behind this sucker. So I still got to save up some dougage, get that sucker. I think for now, let's just stop talking, let's get busy, get this engine bay together, see how it comes out. So a little bit on the steering box here, the steering box setup, if you will. Since we're running 37 larger tires, this frame didn't have any cracks or anything in it, so we were pretty good there. And originally, if you've been watching this build since the very beginning, I was going to turn it into a rock crawler, and I was going to like box the whole frame in, but then I kind of decided, the K10 kind of went that direction, and I wasn't doing that. So what I ended up doing though on here is I continued on back to here, back to where the cross member goes, and then that way I could run the stock cross member. I ended up doing on here is I just stitched it, you know, every few inches, ran a, like, I don't know, like a 2 or 3 inch bead on it, and then I sleeved this, so between the outer and the inner, it's sleeved with some I think it's like 3/4 inch DOM, and welded it around, so this whole thing is boxed in, plus it's got this here. So I don't really feel the need to add anything to it. I think it'll be just fine with the 37s. Like I said, in the future we're going to be going ahead and putting a 2-wheel drive box in here. That way we can run crossover steering. But for now, I'm going to mock everything up with this old box, just so that we have an idea of where everything needs to be, and go from there. Alright guys, let's talk a little bit about these manifolds here. These are 99 LS1 F-body Camaro, so like a 99 Z28. So any of these from 98 through 2002 should work just fine. So the truck ones, they kick way out. I was looking for a truck one to mock up just to show you guys, but I don't have them here, so it is what it is. So but yeah, so this is, I'm probably planning on changing the cam, going with some headers, but for right, I'm going to mock up what I got right now, and then if I decide if I want to run this for a while and then switch it up later on, then that's what I'll do. But for right now, this is how it's going to be, and it shows you the clearance that we have. So let me get the camera, and I'll walk you around, just kind of show you all the clearances and everything. See how everything fits on this side. Hugs nice, tucks nice, fits in the frame well, no clearance issues whatsoever. I actually ran these on my K5 Blazer and on the K10 for a while before I cam swapped it and put headers and stuff in it. But yeah, so they're good. The later models don't have this stuff on it. So I just put the blocking plates on there. Called it good. I think I got those off of eBay for 20-30 bucks. So it's in there, it's like 3/8 plate or 1/4 inch plate, but they work well. So, but I wanted to show you. So that's what you got if you use these. Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the garage. Another day on this sucker right here. Yeah, so let me show you what we got going on. So it's mock-up / going together. So some of the stuff I put in here is going to stay. Some of the stuff I put in here is going to come out. I put the fender wells in. Obviously, these are going to be taken out, cleaned up, and painted. All right. But as I was talking about building some like shock mounts and stuff like that, it's important that we put everything in here the way it's going to be before we start doing that kind of stuff and run into some problems later. So that is what we're going to do. So I think tonight what I'm going to work on, I'm going to figure out what radiator I'm going to use. And thinking about it, I think I'm just going to use the radiator that came with the truck because it is a new radiator. And the crawler hauler one, I don't know. I just figure I'll go with what I know, and and we'll put that in there. So I think it'll be just fine, and then we can run just a regular overflow tank. We don't got to run this surge tank here, and it'll just maybe free up a little bit more room in here. So first I want to start out today by probably setting the core support up in here, and then once I do that, then I can lay that intake piping up here and see where I'm going to mount it, how we're going to mount it. It's going to go down in this corner area somewhere. So what do you say we stop talking and just get into some action? Alright guys, let me bring you in, show you what we got, where we're at. I'll try to go over everything, talk about exactly what I'm using, why I'm using it, stuff like that. So let's get in here, let me show you what's going down. Truck coils, truck intake, truck injectors. This throttle cable hooks directly to the pedal. It's from, I think I got it, it's like a 2002 Tahoe. You can use like the Avalanche 5.3 ones. They just fit right in. LS1 F-body manifolds. These are actually off of my 99 Z28 Camaro. You can see them there. They fit really nice. And probably going to run these for a little bit until I decide to do my cam. And then I'll go with the headers and we'll switch it all up. But for right now, the way the fundage is, I'm going to just roll it as is. It should have plenty of power. It should be alright because I still got to buy an expensive 4L80. I use the stock truck radiator, so this is for this truck. It's a 79 K20. So stock radiator. I use the hoses from the 05 3500 that had the 6-liter in it. Now this fan, see how it has that long shaft? I actually got this fan out of the wrecking yard, and this fan is actually from a, I want to say like the round nose Expedition. Yeah, I think it's from an Expedition, like somewhere around late 90s, but it has that extended shaft, So the fan blade actually sits perfectly in there. Fit perfect. Fit beautifully. So you can see how that is in there. And just tucks right into the shroud there. I think the way I have this engine sitting in here now is it's actually going to raise up a little bit after I put the transmission in, but I kind of leaned it back a little bit just to make sure I had plenty of clearance. And fan spins, show you here, fan spinning freely, and then if this motor tilts up, it's going to have plenty more clearance, so I don't think we're going to have too much of an issue. The one thing I was working on tonight is I wanted to use this stock airbox, stock plenum with the baffle and the air housing assembly, and I think it looks pretty good as it is. And I actually got the plate that was up in the crawler hauler, and it's going to be fine. So I think what I'm going to do, let me get over here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll square it up a little bit more. It's just kind of mock-up for now, and then I'll just make like use some of that plate, just run down, kind of like connect these two and run it down, make some tabs. It'll kind of mount on somewhat of the flat piece of the fender well, and that should give it plenty of strength. Shouldn't be flimsy at all. Bolt there, and then I'll probably make a tab. I don't know if you can see it right there, but I'll make a tab off of here that bolts to the fender well as well. And so I think with those bolted down, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And what I ended up doing is I kind of left it, you know, I didn't stretch it over too far because it would have put it would have pulled this out pretty far. And I want it to be, you know, you see here, you know, if I had, you know, the engine's moving around, you know, I want it to be like as natural as possible and to be able to have as much movement as possible, you know, especially romping on it. Now with the poly mounts, it's probably not going to move that much, but when it does, I want it to be in its natural position. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do over here. I might just clean it up, make it look better, maybe like fab up some kind of box around it just so it doesn't look funky like that as far as sucking the air. I don't know if I'm going to put a hole in the fender and extend something in there, or I don't know. I know like on the K10 I have the just like the cold air coming to right here, and IATs kind of suck, but I've never really had too much of an issue. So yeah, maybe I'll do something, but I do like the way it sits. I wanted this to be as flat as possible, so once I square up that plate, this should be nice and flat. Shouldn't really put too much pressure here. And I'm a little bit long-winded, but you know, I'm just trying to tell you, try not to miss anything. Yeah, so I should be having some parts arriving here tomorrow, maybe the next day. And then we can get going on a lot of other stuff. So like I said, I wanted to get everything mocked up in the engine bay, so I think we're pretty close to getting everything mocked up. Like I said, all the wiring and everything, just to make sure we're not missing anything. And from there, then we can route our brake lines, figure out what we want to do. I may change the location of the proportioning valve. I may actually like run the lines down here and put the proportioning valve right here, and then, you know, run the lines out. I don't know. Figure it out. I got some brake line coming and some fitting, so we'll have to figure that out. And yeah, so it's a truck build. We're just doing it our way, so it's going to be awesome. And I really like this fan. This fan is going to move some air, baby. It's actually bigger. That fan, the diameter of that fan is actually bigger than the fan that came off of that 3500. So it's actually like, I think it's like a ½ inch longer. The blades are fatter too. So I don't know. I know that thing moves some air. Keep that 3500 cool, that 6 liter. But anyway, so another thing I want to talk about is, so I got a call from my buddy the other day, and my homeboy Bill, and he actually called me on like the Facebook Messenger phone thing, and I was like, man, that's kind of weird, you know. So I picked it up, and he's like, hey, what's up, Dick? And I was like, hey, you know, not much, you know, just working, you know. And he's like, hey, you know, Carl passed away. And I was like, what? You know. And so Carl was his, I guess, stepbrother, and he was my friend since high school. And both those guys have been friends since high school, and just we've always been into cars and always been doing stuff. We were in car clubs together and lowering cars with Dremels and stuff, you know, whatever he had to pull off the job back in the day, and everything had to bump. But anyways, long story short is that you know, he died at a young age of, you know, 40, and life is short. And So get out in the garage, turn the lights on in the garage, clean it up, get on your project, run what you brung. Don't wait to buy all those special upgraded parts. Use what you got. Put a truck together. Go out and drive it. Life's short. So this video is dedicated to my homeboy Carl. And rest in peace, Carl. Take it easy, brother. And you guys, appreciate you rolling with me. We'll catch you on the next one.